Good morning, Big Brother fans. It is Tuesday, August 17th. The power of veto was used yesterday. And Brittany is indeed nominated. And, you know, she took it better than I think people expected overall. I mean, there were tears. She was not happy. She's saying that Kylan broke his promise, which other people have told me that he did indeed, that they did shake. I don't know. I mean, I completely believe it because, you know, Brittany's been given reassurances every time she's gone up on the block. And so it's not like, yeah, I'm sure promises were broken, but they can justify it in the end if they need to. However they need to justify it, they will find a way. That is just the nature of Big Brother, and I'm not throwing stones at any particular person or, you know, just the way it is. And so, yeah, she's up on the block against Derek. She thinks that she has a chance to survive, and of course, we know that she doesn't. She's going to be voted out pretty soundly on Thursday. Azah is trying to make sure that the votes are solid enough that she can give Brittany a sympathy vote. But I'm not even sure that'll be the case. She may be too paranoid to do that. She should be too paranoid to do that. But these people are all worried about jury management as well. So, yeah, Brittany's working, kind of trying to campaign. Derek Frazier, of course, is still nominated, and he's continuing to act like he's really worried. There's Kylan, I think, and Derek Frazier have been doing a bit of play acting and pretending to have more. It's kind of funny. They're pretending to have some stress between them, and then they're touching bases with each other, like, you're okay? Yeah, we're okay. Yeah, we're okay with each other. But there's other members of the cookout that are getting kind of tired of Kylan. In the past 48 hours or so, I think Sunday night, and I may have touched on this, I don't remember. I did. I talked about it. He told both Tiffany and I don't remember who else now. Oh, it was Brittany. That when they asked a question, Brittany basically said, "How are you doing?" He said, "I'm not answering questions." And told Tiffany a similar thing about just, I'm asking questions, I'm not answering them. That was Sunday night when he was doing, before the Power of Veto, when he was doing his round X of one-on-one interviews to talk about this stuff. And so he's not making friends. And then I've not gone back to watch it yet, but he told Brittany, in essence, you better not campaign against me. He basically threatened her, which of course is going to ruin, you know, he's ruining his jury chances, which some people are probably fine with. You know, let him ruin his jury chances. If he wants to ruin his reputation with the jury, that's fine with me. That'll be one less person they have to, you know. I'd rather be up against Kylan in the end at this rate. The way his jury management is horrible. How's that? Kylan's jury management is just not to be desired, and he'll regret it later on. But that would be a reason to take him. That would be a reason to hold on to him and try to get him further through. And I don't know if that's what they're thinking or not. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what the cookout is thinking because they aren't ever in one group together to talk, and they tell each other different things. There is no, as far as I'm concerned, there is no ride or die alliance in this entire house. There just isn't. I don't think Xavier is tied in with anybody. I don't think Tiffany, no matter what she says, you know, she's still playing the game on who can get her to the end, and she is not a ride or die. So, yeah, I really don't think there is a ride or die. I shouldn't say there. Well, even Alyssa and Christian, were not ride or dies, because Alyssa was ready to let Christian go if she needed to. She wasn't going down the bitter end for Christian. She isn't out for revenge for the people that got Christian out, as far as I'm concerned. She's doing what she got to do to stay in the game. So, yeah, I don't know if there have been any true ride or dies this season. That's interesting. I'll have to ask people what they think. All right, so what was the other thing I wanted to touch on? Kylan, something about Kylan. Digging himself in a hole. I don't know. I've lost my train of thought. We will pause this for a moment while I try to wrap my brain around it, because I actually have a little bit of time this morning as far as talk, so let me make sure I'm covering everything that I want to talk about before I wrap this sucker up. Okay, so a couple of thoughts. The thoughts on the lack of ride or die alliances, and Derek X, for some reason, decided, either he decided or Tiffany decided, I'm not sure who, to give him a haircut. And the results that I'd seen last night were not the best. I just didn't think he needed a haircut. I think he could have just let it go a little bit longer. I'm not sure. I don't know. We'll see how it looks today. But during that conversation, Derek talked about wanting to possibly, go after Derek Frazier. And that came from a conversation that he and Claire had. And that's what reminded me, and I'm sure I've touched on it before, there's very few conversations that happen in this house, game strategy-wise, that don't involve a cookout member. You got to look at who's left. Brittany, Sarah Beth, Alyssa, Derek, and Claire, right? I think that's it. That's the non-cookout members. They don't play well together, for the most part. For the most part, those people are not playing the game well together. They are a fractured bunch. So, it's makes it that much easier for the cookout to manipulate them when they don't play well together. Claire and Derek X are probably the two closest people still in the house, and they're the ones who, the term clocked is the catch. Every season of Big Brother, here I go down a rabbit hole. Every season of Big Brother, some kind of catchphrase catches on. Something happens, some way to say things, some turn of some phrase. It's turn of the phrase. I don't think that's the correct way to say it, but yeah. And this season, it seems to be clocked. Clocked is the one that I see being used a lot in the Twitterverse, and it's basically, they've realized it. They found it out. They've pointed it out. They're on top of it. So I think of it as, and I'm not sure what the origin of that phrase were, but I guess you could think of it as being clocked by radar. A radar gun gets your speed. If you get clocked, someone has they've sussed you out. They have figured out what your game is. And Claire and Derek X had to have clocked the Cookout Alliance in some ways, but they just don't seem to care, or they I don't know. I do wonder about the casting process for this season. If there was casting that was involved where they found people that they thought would be okay with a cookout type alliance, based on their interviewing. If they found cookout alliance members who they knew would support each other and would not fracture, even though there has been the chance. I mean, Xavier has been, I've said it before, Xavier has saved this cookout alliance on more than one occasion, and patched things up and got people back together. But there is some, I too am wondering. Now, there's some people that are, have speculated on this. I'm not the only one. About, did they cast this season in order to kind of tilt the scale in a certain direction? And it's very possible that they did. I don't know. But by just in its nature, in saying we are going to make a point to cast more people of color, right there, that is going to start to tip the scale. And not even tip the scale. How about this? Not tip the scale. It's going to help even out the scale, if that makes more sense. Because tipping the scale, again, wouldn't be, I think some people would argue like, oh no, the scale's still not tipped. They still had to make, some major moves and fly under the radar, because if the cookout makes it, they've made it to jury. There were 16 people to start. Only 6 people were in the Cookout Alliance. So they've managed to whittle that down to get themselves at an advantage. All right, I'm going down rabbit holes again. Let me think if there's anything else I can say to wrap things up here. I need to do shout-outs to my patrons yet this week. It is Tuesday, so I've got time in my mind. I said I was going to do it this week. And, of course, when I'm driving down the interstate, it's not the time to think, oh, yeah, I should do that. I mean, you can think it, but I'm not going to do it because I don't have time to coordinate looking up everybody's names. And it is a longer list now. I mean, there's 30 people. My God. I mean, at the beginning of the season, there was, I think, 14 or 13 or 12. Several people dropped out. I think there's probably, and a couple of people came back. So I would say at this point, there's probably about 12 of those 30 have been patrons for a long time, or had been patrons in the past and came back. But still, there's a lot of new people. And so, yeah, I need to give you all shout-outs. And thank you for being supporters of my various endeavors. Oh, you know what? I will talk about something else. So let me put it this way. We're done talking about the game per se. And now Big Brother. It's going to be another game today. Today's game, today's Big Brother, is going to be more strategizing about future weeks. Brittany will be running around trying to campaign to no avail. Derek and Claire may try a little bit more to speculate on how they can get, maybe flip the script, but it's not going to happen. And most of the other people are going to be plotting against each other or working to it's just going to be long-term game plan stuff going on. And as I started to say, the non-cookout members are a very fractured lot, and so they're never going to come together to and at this point they're every one of them is the bottom person on the alliance, and so even if they put it together, they'll be like, well, heck, I want to at least be number 7. That's really what it's coming down to. But this all started because I started talking about Derek X getting his haircut by Tiffany, and he was telling her things about this going after Derek Frazier. It's like, oh man, you're giving Tiffany information. You're putting a target on your back. As far as, you're going to be, you're saying you want to go for the coup d'etat in a couple of weeks. Don't be telling Tiffany this stuff. It's going to make her want to get rid of you next week. I realize you don't know that, Derek, but yeah, they're hurting their game, man. These non-cookout people are just setting themselves up for failure. All right. Now we're back to the wrap up here. So lots of patrons. Thank you all. I will give you the shout outs. The other thing is I am possibly, how's that for some definite answers, going to test out the app Green Room, which is Spotify's answer to Clubhouse, which is the audio-only app that came out last year and had a bit of a splash in the splash in the pan. It was a very briefly, wildly popular, and CBS is trying to push it to have Julie do stuff, and Rob from Rob Has a Podcast has been using it, I think, a little bit. I thought he was doing this. Maybe he's not. I don't even know. I've tried it like twice, and I did it with my friend Eric, and Nona was another person who helped out, and a couple other people of you jumped in. It's okay, but it's lacking at least one glaring feature to me, and the people that don't want to chat can't type text. And guess what? This Green Room app from Spotify does allow you to type text. Now, the problem is that the interface, at least getting into it and getting it set up and getting it working, is a bit cumbersome. Finding me on there is a bit cumbersome. Now, I'm not playing by their rules, and their rules are you're supposed to use your real name, and I'm using either the name Mike BB Gossip or BB Gossip Mike, one of the two. And so I'm not quite the typical person that's using it, but I don't want to use my real name, first of all, because people don't know me by my real name. And second of all, I am trying to keep one smidgen paper-thin level of distance between this world of Big Brother and my real life. So, anyways, and yet I still want to be fairly active in the Big Brother community. And so I gotta try to draw this line here, and that's my line. And so I may try using that at lunch today. The nice thing about it is you can chat in it. You can actually type chat. And I did this last Sunday, I think. Not Sunday, Saturday. You know what? I don't even remember now. No, it was Saturday. Saturday I did it. Was it? God, yeah. I'm losing track of days. And tested it out with a few people. There was about 6 or 7 of us at one point. And some people mic'd up and other people just chatted. So it's basically like Periscope, like YouTube Live, like Twitch, except for there's no video. And people can mic up if they want to. And we could do that in Periscope. I was very selective on who I let would mic up. That's what I want to be able to do. I want people to be able to talk if they want to talk. Or just type if they want to type. So again, this Green Room app seems pretty cool. To me, I have a feeling it's never going to catch on because it hasn't yet. And it's very niche. Because most people do want video. So, but I'm going to give it a try. Possibly at lunch today. And the other thing that's nice about it that is different from all of these other ones I mentioned, well, in its own way, is that they will email you a link to the audio of your session. So I can turn that around and upload it as a podcast for people that missed it. And I may do that. This is my thought, and it may not happen, but this is my thought. I'm going to record this thing with John today at lunch. And then maybe tonight I will throw up our conversation as a podcast on this app, on my CarCast app, and say, hey, here's John and I talking about Big Brother. And whoever else joins us, if people join and we can make them, and we can get their mic up and working. So, yeah. All right, that's what I'm up to. Gotta go. Talked longer than I wanted to, since I was wrapping things kind of almost up at the 6 and 7 minute mark. You guys have a good day. Thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting me. I appreciate it. All of these listens is what is keeping me going this year, knowing that I'm talking to so many people this year, as opposed to like even last year. Last year, these CarCasts, I might get 300 to 400 listens a day. And as I said earlier, I'm somewhere between the 800 to over 1,000 average listeners per day to one of my podcasts, whether it's this specific one or one I did a couple of days ago, or people catching up. Or it may be 400 people, but they're listening to more. Maybe they're listening to multiple ones. I don't know. In the end, I'm averaging 800 to over 1,000 listens a day. So that's cool. It's keeping me going as far as the Big Brother stuff. So I thank all of you again. And with that, I'm out of here. We'll talk to you later. Bye.